the Trust and Charities meeting this morning. Just like to advise you that this meeting will be webcast for live and subsequent broadcast via the council's website, YouTube site. Members are reminded that they must declare order either pecuniary and non-pecuniary interests. Any apologies? Yeah.
Starting with apologies. Also, Councillor David, please. Apologies as well.
Anybody else?
No, the rest of them actually.
Just gone AWOL, have they?
I think a lot of people think what happened. Now, somebody had COVID, and then we were all basically told that it's not.
It was in the moving metal. Somebody with a super spreader.
Yeah.
Right, minutes of the last meeting. Everybody had a look at the minutes of the last meeting. If not, I'll give you a couple of minutes to browse through. Yeah, it's a true reflection of the minutes of the last meeting. That great.
Yeah, just the item missing, I asked the question. Update. The meeting that we had in the full council in regards to voting results. But that is included in there, so, and again, that's the thing. We had in regards to that.
So if you can look Councillor Malik. One.
So, can you repeat the question?
Yeah, in the last meeting, I asked the question, an update in regards to a separate meeting we had on trustees. Basically, what I wanted to know if there's been an answer back or not. It hasn't been captured, so I asked the same question again.
Other than that, the rest of the meetings will agree to reflection. Great. Thank you. Councillors, the whole Malik's question, Rajesh or Nigel. Can we attempt to answer his question? Want to repeat the question at all?
Specifically, what it is, we normally have a full council meeting, and then if there's a need to meet in regards to what we call the trustees meeting, which all the councils are part of, and that was basically to in regards to it's quite a few places that were deemed for to go out to whether on lease basis or whatever. They had that meeting, which was to Charities Commission for a response, and I just wanted to know if you have a response back on
What's in relation to any specific?
it. Yeah, there's one on my ward, which is Calpol.
Oh, right, okay. That's
Well,
yeah, yes. Yeah, that's in hand at the moment. Trying to sort that out. And so there's a whole batch of matters in front of me. Yes, the charities commission. So
No, I mean, when we had that meeting, it was stated that it's going to go. So I just wanted to know, has it gone, or is it still in limbo?
there's no. It's a question. We have to go through a certain process. If I understand it correctly, it's a disposal. So trying to dispose of a large capital.
That was the basin.
Yeah. Oh, the place centre. Yeah. Well, that's yeah. Just that's going to have to be. So that will be the reports trust setting up what issues are something, and then if necessary, there's going to be a disposal. There's no powers within the to do charity commission. If there are powers to dispose, then it's the decision will be made by the council.
No, that's what I'm trying to say, it's gone to full capital. It's been through all that.
Council might also point out that we actually transferred it to.
No. That full council, we didn't agree that we will follow any process.
Yeah.
As chair, you remember you led me, and what it was stated was, there was also item put in that this is what would happen, but before any of that happened, we had to have permission from the Charities Commission to say, yes, you can go ahead, we allow you to progress or not, and I just wanted to know if you had a response from the Charities Commission in regards to that, because once we have an answer from the Charities Commission that says yes, then there was 2 or 3 caveats that we had to do. So, one was I had to tell you to the local organization, so above board. And there was one question I did ask, but I never did manage to get an answer to, and that was the word connecting with spring. I wanted to know what that word connecting meant. But nobody seemed to be
During the Trust Judges meeting.
there's email sent back.
We took the word out.
Well,
Is that the time we took the word out?
I don't know whether it was legally or not.
You just said,
Yeah.
the connected parties are certainly legally. If you dispose, you can't dispose of someone that you know. It's like saying.
Yeah, but the way it's worded, I mean, I'm no expert in property or whatever, but I've got a friend who's a property. Dealing with the detail man is dealing with the connected property. There's an underlying meaning that if somebody's in situ or whatever, then they have no preference for it. And of course, if you live in the public, then it's open for abundance, not just for the target.
We have an update. Council
You email me. Well, at the moment, I don't have an update.
Yeah, so we're just liaising.
Are you the one related to the beginning?
Well,
Part of it.
from a legal point of view, but obviously, I'm just learning about that.
So now you will be able, because at the end of the day, the main question I want to ask, has it gone to, with the rest of it, not just the, what was the reason that, has it all gone to the Charities Commission? No.
We have an update on that, and I go for Council Manager.
Sorry, Chair, I am a bit, I'm not ignorant. At the time, if you remember, there was such a big urgency in trying to get it done. And now, being informed, it hasn't even done as a lift off.
I'm sure, Nigel will have an update. Right, moving on. Item 5, Young Active Travel Trust Grants. Is that yourself?
Thank you.
And right, so I'm going to hand over and we can go through it. The main thrust of the meeting today is the travel trust miles. As you can see from the report. So yes, we're all clear.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. My name is Paul Ruffle. I work in the Inclusive Growth Directorate of the Travel and Management team. My role is to promote safe and sustainable travel at schools. So reduce the car journeys to and from school, encourage staff and pupils to walk, cycle, scoot, use public transport on the school journey. The Young Active Travel Trust was established about 5 years ago in partnership with Birmingham City Council and Churchill Insurance, and the sum of £100,000 made available for schools to apply for. There are criteria before the applications. The school must have registered to Motive Stars. Motive Stars is a national programme free of charge, and it helps schools to write their school travel plans. As part of the travel plan, a school has to complete a school travel survey within 12 months prior to an application for this funding. And the survey asks 2 questions of staff and pupils. How do you currently travel to school, and how would you like to travel to school? From the answers of the travel survey, the school can then decide what is the most appropriate travel change that they can make, and they can start to write their school travel plan based on that survey. And the school travel plan is written with Motive Stars online, and myself and a colleague help them to write them. So if you imagine a picture of Birmingham, and you draw a line from Handsworth in the west to Castlevale in the east, anything above that line will come within my remit for schools, so it's the north and the west. Anything below that line comes within my colleague Mandy Slater, and she looks after the south and the east of the city, and together we cover the central area as well. So that's a kind of broad outline of where the links are. We invited applications for this funding from the schools during the summer term, between the 26th of April and the 16th of July 2021. The applications are then examined by the Young Active Travel Assessment Panel, and they were examined and assessed on the 16th of July on the closing date. Members of this panel are myself and Mandy Slater, because we know the schools in the city and we know how far they're getting on with their school travel plan. There are also 2 members of the school crossings team, Sam Maggi and Nebula Grant, and we sit together, we look at the applications and we assess, are they registered to Motive Stars? Have they completed their school travel survey? And have they at least started their school travel plan? If the answers to these 3 criteria are yes, we then take them forward for consideration for this funding. If the answer is no, I then go back to the school, or Mandy does, and explain what they need to do with their school travel plan to be considered. And have been instances where schools have asked to come back again in the start of the next term. So generally, we apply for this funding on a termly basis. The autumn term, which is between now and the end of December, and applications for the autumn term are now open, and schools have been able to apply from the 8th of September, and the closing date is the 3rd of December. And then those applications will come forward to a future meeting of this committee. The other dates are the spring term between January and about March, April, and then the summer term, as I said, April to about July. So the applications were presented after the assessment panel to the Transport Highways group on the 22nd of July. This is an internal group within the Inclusive Growth Travel Demand Directorates and Areas, and it's represented by managers of the different teams. We put forward the applications to those people to make sure that the officers and members of that group were acceptable of the applications. From there, on the 13th of August, the applications went to the Transport Highways Board, which is higher level management. And again, the report that you have seen was submitted to them prior for it coming to this committee on the 27th of August when I sent it to Sophia people. For today, I'm bringing forward 10 schools in 9 wards. So in Allen Rock, there is Nansen Primary School. In Aston, there is Yew Tree Primary School. In Bordesley Green, there is Marlborough and Wincliffe Primary Schools. Bradley Hill is Queensbury School. In Hall Green, it's Robin Hood Primary. Zells is Heathfield Primary. In Moseley, it's Moseley CE Primary. Sutton Roughly is Moor Hall Primary. And Morden is Lee Primary. All of these schools have at least started the school travel plan. Heathfield and Yew Tree have started. All the others have completed their travel plans. There's a number of projects they've asked for. I'll quickly explain what some of these are. Bike shelters are fairly self-explanatory. They're looking to introduce more cycling in the school at Heathfield, so they just want somewhere covered to protect the bikes when they're locked up at school. Balanceability bikes and training from Moor Hall School. These are the bikes for very young Key Stage 1 children. They don't have pedals. And the aim of them is that children walk around with the bike, learning how to steer it as they're walking and how to start it by putting on the brakes. Then they sit on the bike and this is not going to look good on video, you scoot with both feet to get them to start and then use the brakes to stop. We encourage them don't stop with these shoes. So they do this balanceability training to be safe using bikes. And then the school is also looking to purchase a number of bikes as well with it. And then from the balanceability and having basic ability to balance the scooter bike, they then go on to the future bikeability cycle training that has been applied for previously at this committee. Scootability is a package whereby pupils are taught the parts of a scooter. So we talk about the deck, we talk about the wheels, the handlebars, how they fold and lock into place. And then we give training on how to look after your scooter, how to start off, looking around. The aim is to make it so that if they're scooting to school, then they are safe with people. If they're scooting along the pavement with other people on the pavement, they know to look ahead, be able to judge distance, slow down, go through gaps and gates, things like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 schools have applied for the scootability package. 3 schools have applied for the child dollies, and you've seen examples of these before where they are put outside the school saying, don't park here, keep clear. And the schools can have their own school uniform colours, they can have whichever message they want. And in one particular Yew Tree's case, they've asked some playground markings to encourage teaching how to cross roads, how to learn what curve is, and being safe in very young school before they start using the roads themselves. So, of the applications today, there will be 3,176 pupils benefit from this funding, and the amount requested is £9,906.20. As of April 2021, the remaining balance of the fund was £70,742.55. If these applications are successful, there will be a remaining balance of £60,836.35 available for future applications. Thank you.
Thank you for that form, a detailed presentation, as always. Right. Any questions? Yes, sir.
No, could I just ask you to speak up on the
Sorry,
well,
it's the first time somebody's going to ask me to speak up because normally it's when we come down. Well, just a very quick one. Thank you for the presentation. Just wanted to know, was this open to all schools?
all schools in Birmingham? Yes.
And these are the only ones that responded?
These are the ones that meet the criteria for application for this funding. Other schools did not meet the criteria. Mandy and I have gone back to them and said, you need to do this. Hopefully they will come forward in the future.
They have to apply to motive staff, which is the program, from the country there, with lots of money, and they have to travel. Correct me if I'm wrong, and they apply for that lot of money for safety measures in the schools, so to improve the children's health and stuff like this. For example, we had some of the schools in my room, they started walking bus to school, or, and dollies that are outside. So the parents don't park outside. So there's a lot of stuff. Any other questions, Julian?
So how many schools did you, how many applications did you have in total? And how many, therefore, did you reject? And of those ones you rejected, you told to go back and
There was only two that were rejected.
how many of those do you expect will be able to effectively get it next time?
I hope that they will engage with us and do what we've asked them to do. It's in the school hands. When I go back to them and say, you haven't done this year travel plan, and you're going to do it, it might be something as silly as they haven't done the survey within 12 months. So go back, do the survey, give me the results, we update it, and you're good to go.
And so how many is that you've told to go back?
Only two.
22.
Yeah.
And so that was you.
Is it just two, or is it 22?
Two.
Two.
Oh, two, sorry.
Two.
So
Of
that-
12 applications, sorry.
You had 12 applications in total.
Yes.
And how was this promoted to schools?
What we do at the start of each school term, we send out a school newsletter. And it's all the things that are coming up in the coming term for schools. So, for instance, this term, we've got Bike to School Week, we've got Road Safety Week, we've got the Young Active Travel Trust and Living Streets. The schools all get a copy of this newsletter. And then it's up to them to read it, look at it. If they'd like to apply, we're quite happy to talk to them, explain what's needed, and we will talk them through it.
Yes, sir.
Sorry to put you in a position, Paul. If I wanted to know, I've got 4 schools in my ward. If they applied for that, is that possible or not?
I can try, I can't guarantee I've got all the data. What schools is it?
One is Tyndall Street, the other one is British Eastman, and Lisa.
To the best of my knowledge, no, they haven't applied. But those are within Mandy's area, and we can certainly encourage them to do so.
Yeah, no, I'm just thinking that, they haven't, then I might.
I did send the information to the committee members here through. So, yeah, what the application information is and the guidelines. So you're welcome to contact schools in your wards and ask them to apply for this. My thinking is I want as many schools as possible to receive this funding. I don't want the same schools coming back after 3 years and saying, can we have some more? I'd rather it makes as wide as I can.
Sorry, is it all local authority schools? There are some private schools, basically, religious schools.
We are taking applications from the academies as well. So, but it is schools purely within the Birmingham wards.
So it's just to clarify that, it's local authority schools or academy schools in Birmingham City Council boundaries.
Yes.
And there was, so other than that newsletter you mentioned, there was no other specific promotion of this to any of those schools. So it was really incumbent on the schools to read that newsletter carefully and respond. There wasn't anything else to flag it to per se.
No, that is incorrect. In as much as part of the newsletter, we offer the schools webinars.
Right.
And we found this works best because of COVID. We used to host these conferences, webinars at meeting rooms in the city. We found schools prefer it on Teams, where we do a presentation and the schools can log on to it. So the webinars we do are road stars, which is road safety, clear cops, which are obviously environmental issues. And we also do webinars on how to join Motive Stars and how to get accreditation. In all these webinars, Young African Travel Trust funding is explained, identified, and they can make applications from that source as well. It also goes on the school notice board directly to the schools, so there isn't point of contact there.
And I had another question, but some of them is for effectively what we, in fact, most of it is for what we term capital, i.e. it's one-off payment of stuff, of infrastructure, of costs. Now, some of them are put in actually, and that's often the school that have put in money for replacement bikes in applications, and will actually, we'll have money for one replacement a year because they might be damaged. So, show some sort of foresight. But there was particularly the cost of things like the bike stands and those sorts of things. Have the schools factored in any kind of long-term maintenance costs of the kind of bike stands or things like that in their applications? I couldn't see any evidence of that in it. It was just like, here's a lump sum for them to install it, and that's it. So, is it, unless the school asks for that, any kind of maintenance money in their application, it's basically incumbent on the school to fund that maintenance in future years out of their own budget? Would that be correct?
So what I say to the schools when they're making these applications, base it on a 5-year life programme. I don't want them to apply for something that's only going to last a year and only benefit a minimum number of people. So I say to them, the equipment you buy has got to be capable of being worked with school students for 5 years regularly. If there is any other maintenance costs above what we provide, it's for the school to provide that. We don't provide maintenance costs.
I mean, I hope a bike stand or bike shed will last longer than 5 years. So yeah, you can basically say, unless the school budget in this for some maintenance, then it just has to come out from the budget later. Is what I'm saying.
Thank you for that, Paul. I have a question. What benefits do you expect on these applications?
Well, the ultimate role, as I said, is to promote safe and sustainable travel to school. If they're going to use bikes, bike shelters, if they're going to promote things like scootability, those are less cars coming to school. The children are now scooting, cycling, walking. Did mention earlier walking buses, park to stride. It's all about reducing car traffic to school, reducing congestion outside schools, improving the air quality. This funding is aimed for and helps to achieve those behaviour change.
Phil, did you have your hand up earlier?
No.
Okay. Morning, Councillor. Do you have any questions?
I'm sorry, I spoke in the room, I think. Very well, I think.
That's all right. I think we all had an experience with that. Yes, we did.
All these schools, do they suffer from the lines of cars and parks near school entrances?
This comes up in the school travel plan, where they are asked what issues are outside the school and are there any measures that can be done to overcome those issues. So within the school travel plan, I would say parking is an issue. They might apply for guards to stop the cars parking outside the school. And if they have completed the school travel plan, then they can be taken forward for local safety schemes with the engineers and other departments like that.
And is this issue?
During the COVID school lockdown in the last year, there was a lot less traffic on the roads, obviously, because of the lockdown. Since the schools have come back, they have done different means of going into school. And I can't talk for all the schools, they have different staggered times, different entrances, they're using multiple entrances and one-way systems, which has dispersed the traffic a little. But yes, there is an issue with road congestion and with the air quality outside schools. We are addressing this issue.
So we've received 10 applications, and these applications have met the criteria. They're all in the report, and I have been recommended to the committee for approval. So, Paul, shall we take it one by one, and then I'll start with Heathfield Primary School first. They've applied for £1,000 for a bike shelter. And Heathfield Primary School, which area is that?
It's in Lozelles, it's on the Heathfield Road.
Right.
And there is also a side entrance at the back of the school as well.
This has been recommended for approval for £1,000 for the bike shelter. Is that agreed?
Great.
Thank you for that. Moving on to Lee Primary School. They've applied for £1,000, and this has been recommended to the committee for recommendation of £1,000. This is suitability. Lee Primary School, which area is that?
It's just off the Washwood Heath Road, between Washwood Heath and Ward End. It's a little tiny school where they're doing all the HS2 works now. It's at the side road back there. Lee Primary School is actually our best school. We have gradings for motion stars. We go from green, bronze, silver, gold, platinum. Lee Primary is our only gold school.
Okay.
So they have done a lot of work with motion stars to achieve that.
So Lee Primary School, £1,000, is that agreed, committee? Agreed. Thank you. Marlborough Primary School, and this is it's been recommended for approval. They applied for £1,000 for suitability. Or just a quick overview, Marlborough Primary School.
They're over in Bordesley Green. Bordesley Green Road, I think it is. This is not my area, this is Mandy's area, so I don't know these schools as well.
You're doing absolutely fine.
But they're doing well, yeah.
You're doing fine, I think.
Sorry?
You're doing fine. You're doing fine.
I'm kind of, some schools I know, some I don't know, because as I said at the start, some of these, some of mine is, you know.
Yeah.
But Marlborough have signed motion stars, they've done their travel plan, they've completed it, and they've gone forward for accreditation to bronze. I'm just waiting to hear off motion if they've been successful.
And just on that note, would we have some kind of information for the committee as to the gold, bronze, and silver accreditation for schools? So, you know, we can see which school is performing well and which one is.
So, call that too.
Yes, Councillor Richard.
Just one question on the suitability. How much does the suitability and training and of children using scooters impact on journeys to school versus cycle? What has more impact? Do you see children then scooting to work to school in the same way that you would see them to the cycle school? And what's the comparison?
I think the scooting is generally for key stage 1. It's the younger children, so it's the 5, 6, 7-year-olds. And then as they get towards key stage 2, 7 to about 11, 12, that's when they start to take more bikeability training, and they will then start to cycle to school. So scootability is a good introduction towards cycling.
Okay, but in terms of looking more at the impact of that work, do you see children using a scooter to get to school? And if so, how does that compare with the cycling mobility stuff and training resources and children's cycles? After let's say you do both schemes, what is then the comparative impact of both? Do you see the same numbers, the same proportions of children then using scooters to get to school as you would a bike to get to school, or is it different?
It depends on the school, it depends on the teachers and how interactive they are with the school. It only needs a teacher to leave the school, and a lot of impetus that's being built up stops. So a lot of this is dependent on the schools being active in this programme, encouraging pupils to make those changes. Generally, the numbers are increasing for people using sustainable travel and reducing for car, but we've got a long way to go. Only about half the schools in Birmingham are currently registered to mode shift starts. So if members would like to talk to their schools in their wards and encourage them to join, we would welcome them to come on board with this.
I mean, it's a slightly separate point, but I think it might be useful. Certainly, I find it useful, I don't know from the councillors would, to know which schools in our patches have registered and which haven't. So I certainly would find that useful information.
I did send that information out at the previous meeting. I can resend it with the updates if you.
Yeah, I don't know if it might be before I'm on committee, so.
If you could send that across.
I'll send
The other thing, so to just go back to my earlier question, from what you're saying, there isn't a big difference between the kind of scootability and bikeability. You see an impact doing either. There isn't really a difference in the type of active travel that is encouraged in both work, is what you're saying.
All I'm saying is that the schools are having more scooters come on site and being used. It tends to happen in the spring and summer terms when the weather is better. As the weather starts to drop away in the autumn and over the winter, then we have more issues that don't come out on the ice and pavements. So it is very much weather dependent. But overall, yes, the number of scooters and bikes attending the schools is increasing.
Right, and there isn't a difference between them too much.
Not generally, no, because I think the point I'm trying to make is if the school engages at key stage 1 with scooters, that opens the door then for cycling at the higher key stage. If they don't engage at the beginning, it's hard to get them to engage with the cycling.
Any supplementary?
That's answered.
Multi-star,
Mold-shift.
multi,
Mold-shift.
multi
Yeah, MOD-shift.
star.
If you wish, I can send around the general information about motion stars so that you have an idea. Yeah.
I mean, just for council manager's information, we've had in my ward, we've had 3 schools. And they're right. And they've had certain work carried out, and I think it's a really brilliant involving the children, who's their health, and also the environment, with the congestion and the pollution. So I would certainly recommend that to all community members here to get in touch with the schools and so. So we'll be sending the information around to us. Okay. Thank you for that. More primary school balance ability, bikes and training. They've applied for £1,000 and they've been recommended for approval as well. Where's Moorhall Primary School?
Moorhall Primary School is over in Sutton, top end, Sutton roughly. Close to the Sutton School, it's on residential housing estate, estate. They have just within the last month achieved bronze merchant stars. They've worked very hard, and over the summer they have achieved bronze. And they want to go forward now with that bronze award to promote the balanceability and then additional cycle training on top of that.
So it said balanceability bikes, and you explained to us it's the kids walking and steering and stuff.
These are very young children, and as I was saying earlier, it's to introduce them into cycling as they get older, rather than be able to pedal a bike. So come in the fear of balance.
So and it says balanceability bikes and training. Is that that's training? Or is it other training?
There is external training they can use their own funding for to apply for, and that's what more we're trying to do.
And this training is
This training is the basic control of the bike, how to look after it, and then from that there is advanced training as well.
any questions?
This equipment is stored at school, or can parents take them home? So they can be
Stored in the school, and what they do is they have lunchtime clubs or break time clubs where they can use it. And it's also used in PE type lessons.
no, thanks for that. I was just trying to tell you they're allowed to take them, walk them home, and then in the morning they can walk with them to school.
So, more for primary school, £1,000, I agreed for the balanceability bikes and training. Thank you. Great, thank you. For Moseley C primary school, suitability, and they've applied for £1,000 and have been recommended for approval. Where's Moseley?
That's the
C, is that Church of England C, is it?
Church of England,
Yeah.
It's just in the centre of Moseley, just off School Road. Again, it's one of Mandy's schools. They have completed their travel plan and have been put forward for accreditation. We're still awaiting the results of that. Hopefully they will get bronze as well.
Any questions? No? Is that agreed, £1,000 for Moseley, please? Yeah, thank you, good. Manson Primary School, and they've applied for about £1,000. They've been recommended for approval, and it's suitability. Manson Primary School, all disputes overview.
Nancy Primary School is just off Nanson and Maysby Roads in Allen Rock. In the city school, they have also, in addition to this funding, applied to be a car-free street school. So they are very keen to reduce traffic in the area and to start encouraging things like scooting and cycling. That application is currently being evaluated.
And what kind of level are they at? Are they still?
They again have completed their travel plan. What happens, I'm saying they completed and we're awaiting. They complete their travel plans in July, and then Mandy and I submit them to Motor Stars, the national body. They look at the travel plan that's been written. If they're happy with the travel plan at Motor Stars, if all the evidence is convincing, if they can see a modal shift percentage has been achieved, then they accredit them to either green, bronze, silver, gold, platinum. The more the school gets involved in the community, the higher an award. So green and bronze is purely for the schools and their travel plans and changes in the school area. As we go up to silver, gold, platinum, they're asking more engagement from the community, not just the school to make these changes, local shops, businesses, etc. Which is why these schools have done incredibly well to get gold. They have made a significant difference in their area, across the community as well as the school.
And we're a Nansen primary school. Have they got
They are applying for bronze.
Right. And so Nansen Primary School, £1,000 suitability, and we recommended for approval. Agreed. Thank you. Queensbury School, and this is £916.20. And they have applied for that amount. They have been recommended for approval, and they're asking for child darling. Queensbury School. Four.
Queensbury School is Gravel Hill or Erdington, just off the Wood End Lane. It's one of the special education needs schools. They have a lot of parking issues, and they are being looked at as a local safety scheme. And what some of the issues are, there's a pelican crossing just outside the school, and there have been accidents on that crossing. This is because cars are parking on the pavement in the vicinity, so they want to put these dollies out to prevent parents blocking the visibility at the crossing, and to also apply these dollies as a reminder to the parents, don't park here, find somewhere a bit safer. There are side roads opposite the school that will displace traffic from parking. So the Queensbury School have completed their travel plan, and again we're waiting for bronze for those.
Any questions? Okay, and they've applied for £916.20, and it's been recommended for approval. So is that agreed? Great, thank you. Robin Hood Academy, £990. Now, I have to declare an interest here because Robin Hood Academy falls into my ward. So, Roger, is that noted? Or do you want to give us a quick overview on the Robin Hood
I
Academy?
have to be honest, I don't know the school particularly well. It's in Hall Green. It's not one of my schools, but they have completed their travel plan. They have met all the criteria, and again, they're looking for child dollies in order to encourage parking away from the school entrance and to make it safer outside the school.
And they've applied for £990, and they've been recommended for approval. Any questions? Is that agreed? Thank you. Wintercliff Primary School, and they've applied for £1,000, and they've been recommended for approval and suitability. Four.
And Wintercliff School are within Waterley Green Ward. They have also completed their school travel plan, and they are doing similar to other schools. They're looking to promote suitability at the school to reduce car traffic coming into the school. They have done everything we've asked of them, and we hope they'll be successful.
Any questions? Lee? Thank you. Yew Tree Primary School, and this is, they've applied for £1,000, which has been recommended for approval, and £1,000 will be spent on playground marking and child dollies. Four.
So UT Primary School are in Aston. They're almost in the shadow of the Aston Villa Football Club ground. It's a little tiny school in the side streets just off Aston on UT Road. They have started their school travel plan. They have not yet completed it, but they have done what we've asked of them in terms of doing the survey, knowing what they want to do. And the issues they've got is because it's such a narrow inner city road, they do have issues with parking on the school road. So they're trying to put the child dollies out to prevent parking at the school entrance. They also want to do a little bit of training on the school playground with markings, talk about safe crossing places and how to walk along the pavement safely.
Any questions? Is that agreed? Thank you for that, Paul. I think that will probably the grant, I think, for today. Do you want to have any final word on anything? Want to add anything?
Just thank you for your support, and we'll work with you to get the other schools engaged as best we can. Thank you.
And just, are we likely to see those other two schools' applications at each meeting soon, or the next meeting?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
Are we likely to see the application from the other two schools that had to go back?
If they complete what we're asking, yes, they have got now until the 3rd of December, actually, to do the work we've asked, and then we will start the process again on the 3rd of December to go through the assessment panel and boards.
Right, so that's going, they're going into the next round.
That will go into the next round.
Chair, could you visit?
Yes, actually, I was going to discuss that next. So before we leave, we need to, last meeting, we had plans for to visit some of the work that these schools have carried out, to see, the suitability, the dollies and stuff like this. And, it was recommended that we have some site visits. For one better word. And Sophia's got some dates. She has been sending them around. And I know I've seen some from yourself here, I think that you can make some. So Sophia, do you want to quickly take us through some of the dates with the schools and we can?
So like our Victoria Academy has invited members of the trust to visit the school on either Tuesday, 28th of September, or Thursday, 30th of September at 10 o'clock. So far, I've only had one confirmed response from Councillor Akbar. No one else has been replied to any of the dates. I know Councillor Pritchard wasn't able to make any of the dates on the timetable that was, but I haven't had any response.
I mean, the two dates that you mentioned, I want my comment and for the alcohol.
Victoria.
Do you have any other visits to any other sites? Okay.
There was that table you sent round.
I can decide
Some of
on
them
how
I
big
think
we make it wish.
Okay.
So Kings Heath Boys School had height shelter and equipment. They suggested this week, beginning Monday. I can go back to the school if you wish and see if they can move that a little bit later.
Yeah.
The Rosary School had some child dollies, and they will say they can do it any week, Monday to Thursday, between 8:15 and 9 o'clock. So you see them actually on site and how they're used with the traffic, or at 2:45 to 3:30 in the afternoon. Discussed our Victoria Brendan Primary School are doing a park and stride scheme. They can host a visit on Monday, the 11th of October, which is a big school day. They've got an all-school junior leader event, so there'll be quite a bit happening. Or they could do it on Wednesday, that was 11 o'clock, sorry. Wednesday, the 3rd of November at 10 o'clock, or Tuesday, the 9th of November at 10 o'clock as well. But those are just then to see what happens with the park and stride scheme. And then the primary school.
Just a moment. Let me, I mean, we're going through the dates and I don't know if we've got all this, we've got our diary here. But
It's not on
all
my idea.
the suggestions how we move forward with this. I mean, I know Sophia sent some data around, but we're going to be obviously detailing where and what dates, but I'm not sure how we can move forward with this. I mean, as a committee here, whether we can decide now or shall we leave it and we can get back to Sophia with the availability date.
I mean, yeah, I've submitted my more general availability in that table. So those ones that you guys are in there. I mean, I think two options. Decide here now what we can do, confirm those. And at least then you know you're not full. Or you can let's see what response you get from the rest of the committee in the future over the next few weeks. But the risk is then
That is my
the availability gets booked up, and then the people who maybe could have made it now won't be able to make it later. So that's the risk. I mean, generally speaking, for me, the more notice the better. So like 3-4 weeks generally is better than 1 to 2. So that's part of what the problem is with the ones next week, is short notice ones. But yeah.
What was the October date? I think I give you October and November date. That's the reason Councillor Charities mentioned that gives me ample time.
The Rotary School is saying any week you like, Monday to Thursday, so you can, that's an open invitation. In October, Grendon Primary School, there's our Monday the 11th, Wednesday the 3rd of November, or Tuesday the 9th of November, so there's a little bit of leaving there. Or our Victoria's the 28th and 30th of September, so that's not quite such a long leaving.
I think the 29th, 30th of September is going to be a difficult one. We've got also going on around the city. October, November, I think seems okay. Off the top of my head.
Well, would you like to advise Sophia and then she can contact me and I'll arrange it with the schools?
Is that okay, Sophia? We can get in touch with you and then I've received the table that you've sent around, but I was hoping we could discuss it
Yeah, shall I
today.
send you back around again?
Yeah. Yes,
Yeah, I think the best way is that we are in the 20 events related to the government. I can't take it down, so I can take my day.
okay. So if you can send the table to the committee members. Sophia will send it around
I
again.
already confirmed that you will take the 28th and 30th, I think it's one of that day.
Yeah,
Let me know if 30th or 28th. I'm available.
Yes, sir.
So do you just want to go ahead with one councillor next week or do you want?
Next week.
Yeah, because I think councillor Atwell just said he was available next week.
I'm available to get 28th.
Of September. Oh, right, it's going to be a difficult one. I mean, I'm more than happy for whoever can make it, you know, and they can certainly turn up and go. I mean, I can't do it in September at all. So,
My suggestion would be, would you like to go to different schools that are more appropriate for you?
I think what do you think, Phil? Could we do it, set it up in such a way, like, say, if Councillor Atwell went on one of the dates, and whoever was available with him, and then the rest of us could go, you know, we could chop and change, kind of, so we don't all have to go at once, because I don't think we'll all be able to, we'll be available on one date. Yes,
And the school may have issues with the COVID regulations of the
Yes.
people to be on site.
yes.
Can you actually get something when you can do that? I suppose people will be outside, but you can get in maybe 2 or 3 is fine. Trying to come in doesn't take long.
So if Councillor Atwell goes, I think I've got a bit of a plan in my head. If Councillor, whoever goes to on these visits, if they can come back to the committee and just give us a brief presentation of what they've seen and, you know, how the equipment's being used. For example, if you go on the 28th or 29th, the following meeting, you can come and then just give us a brief presentation. And we can do the same for other schools. Does that sound?
I think, yeah, I don't mind, but if you look from the city or committee, at least 2 to 3 people who there, not just one. I don't mind in my home, but at least if you have, 1 or 2 people,
Yeah.
not a 3, then you.
I think for the visits, would anybody accompany the committee members? Would it be yourself? Would
I
you?
would go along with the company members and quite possibly my colleague will come along as well. And it's an open invitation for you to come and see what the funding is being used for. So if it's acceptable to members, would it be okay to take a few photos and to promote the fact that it's ongoing? It will help other schools in
Yeah.
to see exactly what's going on.
That was the whole purpose of the visit, so we can highlight this, and then other schools can then, replicate that. But we also have to bear in mind with GDPR, pictures that the children pictures, obviously, we can't take any kids' pictures. So we have to make sure. Yes, John?
So councillor Atwell, which date would you prefer, or does or does the committee through the chair just want to delay the Victoria, Art Victoria Academy visit to a later date?
Where that, and which board is that academy?
Sorry, Councillor.
Which
Where
area
the academy, which board is it?
is Victoria
Victoria.
Small B.
morning?
And I don't mind, but you can get 28th or 30th. Any day, is any officer will be there or just my own?
All will be there.
Yeah, okay.
And,
Yeah.
and
If you could let me have the dates of what are suggested, because I now have to go back to the schools and say, councillor would like to visit on this date.
Yeah.
Can we make the arrangements? And the school will advise me then if there's any COVID type conditions that we need to be aware of.
so, Councillor Collins, all will be there, and, there'll be a teacher or somebody else. So there'll be a few of you, three of you. And I think that's the best way we need to move forward with it. I think if you went to, the school on the 28th or the 30th, when you come back.
I that they are for their 30th.
And then you can give us a brief presentation.
We will carry on with the 30th. Can you send me the date and the time, and I will be there.
And if you can forward the table again, Sophia, and for Paul,
She just has.
okay. Paul, have you sent it to Paul as well, yeah? So if we can let Sophia know which dates we can make an important call. I'll certainly get back to you on that, Sophia, as well, because I know I've seen it, in case we're getting around to it.
Is anybody need a password in internet? I can.
Yes. Lowercase, TBMI.
It will be BCG, lowercase BMI, lowercase.
So the password is,
No, which side is on side?
So you want to give him a hand? You can cross the floor.
yeah, that's good.
Sorry.
That's a rough book, Councillor, as well, so don't worry. You haven't got much left in the agenda. Item 6, any other urgent business? Is there anything else that we need to discuss? Bill, Rajesh? Item? Anything? No? Carry. So, item 7, authority to chair and officers, and I move in an urgent situation between meetings, the chair jointly with the relevant chief officer has authority to act on behalf of the committee. Is that agreed? Thank you. I think that's it for today, Phil. Is that right?
Yeah.
A very relaxed and constructive meeting. I mean, have you stopped recording, Phil?